All right, so thank you. Thank you for your time and patience and watching this video. Now, moving forward to the session, I would like to tell you that after our speakers are done with the lecture, we will be having a Q&A round for about 15 to 20 minutes. Probably it can extend to 10 more minutes later on. We will try to make it as interactive as possible, and for that, I request you all to please be prepared with your questions in case you have any. Keep your questions brief yet complete and to the point and specific to today's topic. Feel free to ask your questions through Q&A sections. Section that you can see is underneath your Zoom window, and you may raise your hand also if you want to directly speak to our speakers. So as I said, using Q&A section, if you are asking your question, you will be able to type your questions, and then I will take them one by one for the speaker to answer it in brief. And if you are using hand raise option of Zoom, I will allow you to talk, and you may speak by unmuting yourself. Kindly avoid writing in chat box so that your questions are not missed by us. We will try to cover as many as questions. Manager at AMP USA. Along with me, we have Mr. Mohammad Shahanshah Ansari, who is the president of AMP USA. Let me quickly introduce you all to our expert speakers and career coaches for today's follow-up session. Mr. Imran Ahmed Khan Saab and Mr. Danish Nadeem Saab. Mr. Imran Ahmed Khan Saab is the Director of International Marketing at Eurasia Institute in Germany, and Mr. Danish Nadeem is a Senior Consultant and Data Scientist at Atos in Netherlands. I would now request Mr. Danish, sir, to proceed with the session. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Humaira. Thank you, AMP, for this opportunity. It's our pleasure to take forward several sessions. And in today's session, we are going to talk about education, PhD and research opportunities. Let me pull up my screen. Could you see that?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. So in today's session, my idea was to actually make all of you listeners to be aware of what are the PhD opportunities here, and also if those who are interested in going to the research direction. What is interesting for people who have done masters with some years of experience, for them it is a very interesting talk to follow up on finding what kind of PhD programs that they could, if they are interested, because this is one of the ways to come here, and also to explore what kind of interesting projects or interesting topic that you can work on. So following up on the session, this is our fourth session today, and we are trying to, we gave you a kind of a whole storyline from education in Germany to education in Europe, then employment opportunities in Europe to the research. So those of you who have missed previous sessions, please follow the links with the live videos as well as YouTube videos, so as to get the whole picture.
All right, in the meantime, I think Imran sir, if you want to proceed with the session, you can start, and then Danish, so he can give his cover his slides later on. Fine.
Okay, once again from my side also welcome everyone, and it's a pleasure again to be with you guys, giving you further information. Like Danish mentioned in the beginning, it is a series of sessions. It is our fourth topic today, where we are going to tell you PhD and research opportunities generally in Europe, and specifically in Germany also. So we'll come back towards the first part. There are some important information also about studying opportunities in terms of research and PhD. Generally in Europe, Mr. Danish will after resolving this background noise issue, he will get back and he will put some light on it. But let me start with my part, which is mainly about research in Germany, opportunities, ways, the steps involved, what to and when to prepare, and where to look and seek for assistance. Okay. First question is, why Germany for research? As we all know that Germany is very well known as the land of ideas, the land of innovation. It's a leading country in terms of technology and research. That's why there's a huge interest among international researchers to come to Germany, especially because of variety of disciplines, a variety of topics available where you can do your research. And there are state-of-art research facilities available, both in industry, research institutions, as well as in the universities. Okay, Germany has a robust economy, and economy is actually the driving factor of the research. This is very important to understand for all of you that listening to my speech now. Economy is actually the main topic which derives research, because in order to keep up with the pace of innovation, industries are heavily involved in with the universities and research institutions to develop and create new ideas, new products, new theories. That is one of the reasons why Germany is very popular, and there are thousands of opportunities to do research in Germany. On average, there are about 5 to 6,000 new international researchers are invited to join different institutions or universities to start or begin their research. Every year, the ratio is between 3,000 to 4,000 finished PhD or graduates who have submitted their dissertation at the end of the research. So this makes Germany very attractive. The first thing was, why Germany? Because Germany has the economy, which is the driving factor of the research. There are variety of discipline, research areas, and research facilities available. Everything you need to know about Germany towards research, towards documentation, the steps involved, the funding. I have given a web link. I believe most of you already know DAAD. DAAD is the Higher Academic Exchange Agency of Germany. It is a government organization, and which is responsible to fund research, which is responsible to offer scholarships, assist you for PhD placements. All the information that you require to fulfill the dream of coming to Germany for your research is definitely available on this link. Okay, so please, later on, this presentation would also be available on YouTube, and we'll also send you the recorded one. But this is the main link. Please keep in your mind. Okay. Let's move towards the steps. I believe most of you are interested to find out, seek assistance if they are qualified for a PhD or research position, how and where to start. Okay. Usually a master's or postgraduate degree is required to apply for a research position or PhD position. Okay. And the first step is to have your degrees recognized, evaluated. There are two links I have given here. On both of these links, you can check by yourself if the university from where you have done your postgraduate degree, it is recognized in Germany or not. Okay, this should be the first step. For example, the second link is Anabin database. You can convert it, it's usually in German, but you can change the language to English. And under institutions, you can put your country's name or select from the list, and then it will show you all the universities available in that particular country. Okay, there are three different status given. One is H plus, okay, one is H minus, and one is H minus and plus. H plus institutions are fully recognized in Germany. H minus institutions are not recognized. And the third category, H plus and minus, some of the faculties are recognized and some not. Maybe they are still under process of recognition with German Higher Education Commission. Okay, so this is the link where you can find if your degrees are recognized. It is also for all those coming for higher education in Germany, not only for PhD and research, but also for a foundation, a bachelor's or a master's degree. The second most important thing that you must have is definitely a very good research proposal. You should have your topic, state-of-the-art writing on the topic of research that you want to achieve at the end of the day. Okay, and there are different websites available where you can find on which topics in your area currently the research is going on in Germany, in German university or in research institutions. It would also help you to, to create or to modify your proposal according to the requirement of the university or the institution. But the website I have shown here, DAAD, it would also guide you. There is a very nice guideline how to prepare a research proposal. What are the aspects that most important the supervisors in Germany need to look at? Another option on this website, you will find how to write a motivation letter. Why you are motivated to do research in this particular field. So you would find step-by-step guideline how to prepare a nice motivation letter as well as a standard one, world class research proposal. One of the next stages, once you have this, once you know that your degrees are recognized and you have all the documents ready to apply for a position, a PhD position, a research position in Germany, you definitely have to look at to find this opportunity. Okay, there are two different types of PhD programs you can apply for. I will talk about it in my next slide, but here the next stage is definitely to find a PhD position. And how to find a PhD position, we will definitely go into a bit more detail where we can assist you what are the sources available, databases available, links available, which would help you to find a proper program and a supervisor. Okay. Last but not least, how would you finance your studies? There are two different ways of financing your studies. Either you will do it self-finance, or there are fundings and scholarships available. Okay, we will also go into detail in one of my next slide. Below, I have given another link, also everything related to PhD positions in Germany. Okay, including finding finances. But once again, like I said, that I will go into detail in my next slide, but these links are very important for you. There are two types of PhD offerings in Germany. One, a usual like individual doctor studies, where you have to prepare a research proposal according to whatever you want to research according to maybe your background of education, your publications, or your personal interest. Okay, so these type of PhD positions, you need to search for a supervisor. Okay, because there is no particular program available for that you can apply and get admission. This is a usual way how people apply for a PhD in Germany, where you have to look for a supervisor. Okay. In this type of PhD, mostly you have individual research and sometimes also collective research in different types of attachment with the groups. Okay, the research can be done directly at the university, in some research institutions, or in industry. Okay, there is no requirement of staying only in the university to complete your research. So you are free to do your research anywhere in Germany. You can move to any other country, continue or complete your research. Even sometimes you have a lot of partner institutions and universities available in EU and outside of EU, where part of the research you can do in Germany, in your home country, as well as in collaborating universities or research institutions. Okay. Once again, like I said, it is flexible. You can decide a lot about how you are going to start and when you are going to start. There are no deadlines of it, and when you are going to finish. Usually the minimum time it is required to complete this type of PhD is 3 years, and you get maximum 5 years to complete your research and submit your dissertation. Okay. Second type of PhD programs are structured PhD programs. The programs which are offered every year by university. Okay. Not by research institutions, but by universities. And this is an alternative route. If you are not sure on which topic you want to do a research, and you want to be very exact about a particular topic, which is offered by the university, this could be a better option for you to apply. This is similar to, this type of PhD programs are similar to PhD programs offered in any other English speaking country. Okay, so there is no difference. There is a set curriculum and courses for this which you have to follow. You will get a group or individual supervisors where you need to regularly submit your reports and progress of your PhD. So these are two types of PhD programs you can opt for. I have again given the links to look for both type of PhD positions available in Germany. Okay. Important how because mostly the questions we receive, I want to do PhD in Germany, how can we help, or how can you help us, which means you need to find a PhD position. If someone else you are seeking assistance, or maybe if you yourself would spend and invest some time to do research to find the PhD. Okay, so if you want to do it at your own, how to find a PhD? First of all, DAAD database. There is a database of different PhD and research positions available. Okay, so I have given the link. If you go through this link, there are selection criteria. There's a criteria which you can put into different fields, and then at the end it will show you in this field or research area that many number of PhD program or PhD or research positions available according to the topic, and you can also do the search by city or by university. So there are different types of search criteria given on this database. So this database, once again, this link is very important. And the next thing is international PhD programs, the structured PhD programs, the structured ones. Once again, for structured PhD program, I have given again the database. It's a huge database. Different universities are offering different PhD programs in different areas or different subjects and fields. So you can find all of these PhD positions available every year on this database. Okay. There are other sources available because a lot of different projects are financed by the industry as well as research institutions. So these type of programs you can find and locate on the first link that I have given, Research in Germany. Okay, the all latest and related information is definitely also given on the social media, on Facebook, on Twitter as well. Okay, these are once again very useful link. On the right side, you will see this is the map of Germany, and the small dots that you are looking at all the university cities or universities available, which offers different types of research and PhD positions. Last but not least, how are you going to finance your PhD? Because the first question usually we get, how can we get the PhD position? And second question is, what are the scholarships available? If it is funded or not funded. For you, it is important to know education in Germany, including PhD, are free of cost. You don't pay any fees, even it is a structured PhD or if it is individual PhD position. You don't pay any fees. The first thing you must know. Second thing is that you must be aware that the living expenses in Germany on average between 850 to 900 euros, which cover your accommodation, your insurances, your traveling, your utility bill, and your food. So this much amount of money is usually required to live in Germany, being a student either for master's or for PhD. If you are an individual, but if you are moving to Germany for research, as a family, sometimes there are families also coming in where husband or wife are doing PhD and the family is staying here. Definitely you need more money to fund or to finance your family. Always there is a small semester contribution, especially for the structured PhD programs. It is between 200 to 350 euros for one semester. And against this money, you get a semester registration and semester ticket. This ticket is used to travel within the state, within the city, free of cost for next 6 months. And you get a lot of discounts, free books, and stuff like this. Yes, most important point of today's scholarships and funding. Yes, fundings are available. One of the biggest funder for PhD and research in Germany is once again DAAD. DAAD in collaboration with the local government in your country offer every year a lot of scholarships for PhD positions. What you need to do is you just need to go online, have a look when the applications for scholarships are open. There is a criteria, what documents need to be submitted for applying for the scholarship. And yes, you need to apply and definitely top how many scholarships are given. It is always mentioned on the website that many scholarships are given by DAAD. So that many scholarships are available. So top 5, 10, 15, 20, how many scholarships are available will be given a chance to get this scholarship. Apart from this, on the same website, you will find country-specific scholarships, okay, institution-specific scholarship. Okay, there are different categories. In further detail, you will find not only DAAD scholarships or the scholarship given by your local government, but also different research institutions and industry in Germany are also funding the research programs. For that, there are good number of scholarships available that you can explore. So first, once again, you can look at this website, DAAD database for scholarships. I have given exact link, the funding available, for how long the funding is available, what does this funding covers. There are other funding databases also available, which is given in this link. For example, like I mentioned previously, that different research institutions and companies and industries are also funding research according to their whatever they require. And these type of fundings are given or can be located or searched through this link. Apart from this, institutional fundings are there. Universities are funding different research programs. And you can have an overview of these type of scholarships available through this link. So all of these links will be, I mean, you will have this video uploaded and then slides also shared later on. So these links are there for you to start preparing, start applying for scholarships, PhD position, and locating a supervisor or university. Okay. Apart from this, there is a special category also. We call it, I mean, there are job offers for doctoral students, wissenschaftliche Mitarbeiter, scientific, I mean, how do you call it in English?
Scientific researcher.
Scientific researcher or scientific research assistant. During the study, if you don't, if you have not applied for funding or scholarships, or if you have not given a funding or scholarship, PhD is free of cost, but during your PhD and research in Germany, you are allowed to work. You can work as a scientific research assistant in the university and earn money to fund your living expenses. Apart from this, you are again, I mean, you get the permission to work outside of the university as well. So this is not that, I mean, very important to get a funding or scholarship only, then come for a PhD position. Because you don't pay any money for PhD, even if funding is not authorized to you or scholarship is not given, you can still apply and come and either become a research assistant at university, work and earn money, or outside you are also allowed to work and fund your own living expenses. Everything related to paid jobs for researchers and PhD candidates or students, everything is given in this link. Once again, okay, so this link is again very important. Please spend some time and do your research. This information that is given in different link would definitely make you successful if you fulfill the basic requirement. Basic requirements are you have done postgraduate study. It is recommended also if you have some research already published, some research published already there. Secondly, if you have a bit of academic work done somewhere in an institution or German or university, it would also increase your chances. But apart from this, two things are important. One is your research proposal, very nice research proposal. I mean, how you can be confident that your research proposal is up to the mark. In the beginning, I have mentioned there are guidelines given on the DAAD website, how to prepare research proposal. Secondly, the motivation letter. But what you can do is whatever area or field or subject you are interested in, I would suggest you to go to the database and look for different PhD research groups doing or research groups doing research on different topics. Read their research and then accordingly prepare a research proposal. This will also give you some insight what is going on and how you are going to contribute to the ongoing research. Okay. On the other hand, there are structured PhD positions which you can apply. The criteria of application and eligibility is also given on each link, what I have shown previously. Okay. So before going next, I would hand this over now to Danish, who is very excited to give the general overview of PhD and research. What are important things to consider for overall in Europe? Please stay tuned. Yes, Danish.
Okay. Do you see my screen now?
Yes, yes.
All right. Sorry for this interruption.
No worries.
Well, I think Imran has very much covered German-specific PhD positions and how to apply, how to go about it. What I wanted to give information is more of a thinking to create an understanding in you that PhD here is not a studentship. PhD here is like a job, which is comparable to any other places where you are employed by the research institute. There are a few factors that I have listed here. Before going into each of these, I want you to think that once you come here for a PhD, most likely, at least 70% of the chances, you will be employed by the university or by the research institute. So this is a very good way of working for people who are already working at the moment and would like to continue. So they can think PhD as a possibility where they can actually work and they can also invite their family members. So PhD here is on average in Europe is 3 to 5 years of high quality research. I was very much impressed by the infrastructure that we have here in Europe, the facilities they have. So it is very conducive for conducting research. And that's why it would be very good for people who are interested in research. They can think of applying for research positions as compared to English-speaking countries like USA and elsewhere. As I mentioned, PhD is an employee's position. People are working as a research staff or research assistant. Most of the institutions here, they offer a lot of subjects which are interdisciplinary. So the good thing is that there is no restriction on what kind of topic you can do research, from any subjects in humanities to any subject in technical sciences, medical sciences, or even interdisciplinary sciences. Even people who are having professions like teaching or other soft sciences, even they can create opportunity and they can come up with a proposal and there will be a funding for that. And last but not the least, having a PhD is actually a key to move on in the career in academic research. So key points or key messages that I would like to highlight here is that there is no age restriction. Lots of people are asking if there is age restriction on doing a PhD. So there is no formal age restriction. Of course, people who have graduated with a master's degree are more willing to go for PhD project. But of course, if you have some years of experiences, you have done quite other research work, you are still eligible to apply for PhD positions. The degree here is internationally recognized. So there is no doubt about it, people asking that whether it is recognized or not. The research itself, the infrastructure here is really cutting edge. You will have all the facilities. I was personally very surprised. I went to United States as well, came back to Europe. Part of the universities where I was working was very well funded and it is really a nice environment to work. So I think there is no understanding here that going to US or somewhere else you will have something better. This is not the case. Even in Europe you have a very good research facility, you have very good staffs, you have good researchers, and of course there are funding to conduct your work. One more important thing is that the PhD here is not so much focused on coursework, like you have to follow certain courses in the beginning of your program and then you go on either for teaching responsibility and so on. This is not the case here. Most of the work here is focused on in research. So while you start your project, you already start doing your research. And another interesting point is that normally on average, the duration of PhD in Europe is shorter than elsewhere or in United States. So these are the few countries where minimum duration which is required to complete a PhD is 3 years. So Germany, Norway, France, UK, and Denmark. But there are other countries. I just made a very few list of countries here just to give you an impression that there are countries where you can do at least within 3 years your PhD, depending on the topic, depending on your subject. There are countries also where you have to do at least 4 years of research, like Netherlands, Switzerland, Sweden, and Finland. The idea is this is a minimum requirement. Of course, it takes longer time because you have to get oriented in the beginning, understand the research topic, and do a lot of publications during the process. The key point is that you have to think about what are the research topics that you would be interested in. So there are two ways. I think Imran also mentioned, either you go for an individual or the structured one. So in this case, research topic could be related to your previous work, either master studies and so on, or you could join a research institute on an ongoing research. So they are doing some research, you can become a part of it. That is another direction of doing your PhD project. Funding, as I said, it is always kind of depending on which topic you are. Soft sciences like social sciences and those kind of subjects are sometimes not that much funded, but if you are more into technical side, engineering side, there are better funded, and even interdisciplinary side like biomedical engineering, nanotechnology, these kind of fields have also good funding from industry also. So it can vary. You can get funding of 800 euros a month to up to 1600 euros a month after tax. So that means this is the actual amount you take home. Of course, you can also look for external funding sources. So if you are coming from industry or company, you can also see if they have some funding to support your research work. There are also grants from different foundations or scholarships. And of course, as I said, it is actually an employee position. You work for the research institute. So there are open vacant positions where you can apply for that. So what are the formal requirements for PhD? If you want to do a PhD, of course, you have to have, at least in Europe, you have to have a master's degree, which is not the case in American system, where you can still join PhD program with your bachelor's degree, with a 4 years of bachelor's degree. Here you are required to have a master's degree. And it is always an advantage if it is a research-oriented master's, which means in your final semester of your master's study, you have conducted some kind of research studies, or even if you have published a paper, that would be quite an advantage to you. You need a good letter of recommendation from the people you have been working with, either from the industry or from your professor. And of course, you need a letter of motivation telling why you are a right candidate to be considered for the research position, which also includes a little bit about, research proposal, a little bit about your publication if you have done. So it is always nice to have additional things like your research proposal, a copy of your master thesis. And if you are good at writing research publications, if you have done anything, even not scientific stuff, it is always good to attach it into your application, because it shows that you are good at writing. And that is the key part, because if you see typically the desk of a PhD person on the right side, that's how it looks. You will be busy with reading a lot of research papers, drafting your own ideas, putting into some kind of research problems, and then going further and so on. And then, of course, publishing the papers. It is a very engaging kind of project. It is engaging kind of work, but it is also very interesting because you are your own, you do your own work. So the question is, where would you find it? There are a couple of links you can see. These are the links where you could search for advertised PhD positions. But even if you think the topic you are interested in is not advertised, you can go to these links, find the groups, research groups, what they are working on, and try to identify if you can find some departments where your kind of topic, your kind of research work is being done. So the keyword is reach out to the research department, find a prospective supervisor, someone who is willing to supervise your work, and then discuss the topic, discuss what you want to do. If your topic is interesting, if your topic is something which is relevant, if your topic is something which is valuable to the scientific community, they will find a way to find money for you. So there will be a possibility to write a proposal and then get money for it. And I think in the final slide that I would like to say is, what are the possibilities once you are finishing your PhD in Europe? And I'm specifically talking about European PhD, because European PhDs are under the framework of European qualification framework, which means that your PhD is somehow accredited, or the structure is somehow accepted by other European countries. So even if you do PhD in Germany, it is recognized in Netherlands. If you do in Netherlands, it is recognized in United Kingdom, and so on. So it's a European PhD. Uh, there are different directions you can go after you successfully complete your PhD. You can go into academia, work for your further research, like people do postdoctorate. Postdoctorate can be up to 1 year to 3 or 4 years. People also go for a faculty position, like, basically becoming a assistant professor, associate professor, or full professor, which is basically also called tenure track positions. So you do PhD and then you have a couple of years of experience together with publications. You become more of a academic person or a professor. Of course, there are people who have focused on teaching, so there's also possibility in that direction. Then there is a possibility of going into industry. You can choose a possibility of becoming a research scientist, a consultant, or a team leader, depending on what your topics are. And then, of course, in the public sector, you can work as a scientific advisor, a policymaker, or some kind of principal scientist. And the good thing about PhD, you become your own boss. So finally, by the time you conclude your 4 or 5 years of research, you know so much about the topic that you can really lead further and either become an entrepreneur, or it's up to you. The whole world is open. So that was today's session. I think you have got a good information here. And now you are open to ask any questions if you like. I would just stop my screen.
Thank you, Imran sir, and thank you, Danish sir. It was really nice. I see that 2 hands are raised, so I'll just allow them to talk one by one. In the meantime, okay, the hands have increased. So, okay, so first I'll just ask Afia Sheikh to talk. I'm allowing her to talk. Please kindly unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hello, Assalamu alaikum.
Welcome.
So I wanted to know that if the foundation course is required, if we learn German language till the B2 level with the Goethe Institute certificate, and what exactly is being taught in the foundation course?
The problem is that this question is very, very relevant to the PhD and research topic today. Okay, but I will make it short. There are different types of foundation program related to your future studies. For example, technical foundation for anything related to mathematics and engineering. Medical foundation, anything related to medicine and biology. Similarly, business foundation for management sciences like BCom, like BBA, like whatever related to business. So they teach you mainly a bit of specialized German with terminology and mathematics mostly. Okay.
Okay. Afia, do you ask some other question also? Do you want to ask your question? No? Are you done?
Yes, ma'am. One more question. Sorry. I wanted to ask that how much, on average, does a student earn when he or she works in Germany?
Usually you earn enough money to survive here. You don't need to ask your parents to give you money for your living expenses.
As in, we cover our rent and our food expenses along with it.
Yeah.
And which state has more of halal food and all of that?
All big cities have a lot of Arabic and Turk shops, Pakistani shops, Indian shops, where you will get everything which is halal.
Okay, thank you so much.
Afia, the only thing is that you will be allowed to work as a student 20 hours per week. And depending on the type of work, if you're working for any company, you will be paid slightly higher. There are students who are working for other jobs like McDonald's or other places for restaurant jobs and so on, student jobs. So on average, you will be earning 400 to 500 euros a month because of the certain restrictions that you are allowed to work. You can't work full time, so you definitely cannot earn more. And if you work for the study program related to the study program, so if you are a mechanical engineer, just to give you an example, and you're working in a company which is a mechanical engineering company, your working hours is not counted towards the restriction hours. So you are free to work longer, as many hours. In that case, some of the students can even earn up to 1,000 or 1,200 euros a month, which is more than enough to so-called survive in Germany. but you need basically 500 to 600 euros a month to completely cover your living expense.
Right, a small addition in it for everyone. It is 20 hours in a week, maximum you can work during your semester time. But if you have breaks or semester holidays, you can work full time. Important is for you to understand the minimum wage is, official minimum wage is slightly above 9 euros per hour. And you can now calculate if you are allowed to work 20 hours, how much money you can earn. There is a minimum wage. If you are getting the minimum wage, which is around 500 euros or little less, then you don't pay any taxes in Germany. Okay. But if you earn like 1,200 euro and you are paying 200 euro taxes, you still have 1,000 euros saved with you for a month.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, Afia. I'll allow Dr. Khairunisa to talk. Kindly unmute yourself, please.
Yeah, Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamualaikum.
My question is that I already have a PhD in international studies, and I also have MPhil in the same subject. I have MA in political science and MEd, and then I have 10 years teaching experience in the school level. And I want to explore career options and university teaching as assistant professor in any country of Europe, and preferably English speaking like UK.
So you are looking for an opportunity as a teacher.
Right.
Okay, or as an assistant professor. Yes, because you have a PhD with 10 years of experience, you can definitely look for any of the research departments. You can look for vacancies in your field on your topic. And in your case, of course, because of your experiences, because of your degree as a PhD, you already have it. You won't be required to, follow certain other things that I mentioned in the talk. But yeah, just look for the vacancies, especially focus on Netherlands, because in Netherlands, lots of programs are offered in English. Assistant professorship onwards, even PhD onwards, is very well funded. Or you can also look for Denmark and Sweden. These are the three countries where you will find most of the programs or opportunities to learn, to do your program in English. The only thing is, in some countries, there are certain criteria that you have to meet. It's like you might have to go for additional qualifications, so to be a teacher there or to be a lecturer there. So individual country has its own criteria. You please try to explore on that. And if you have any more specific questions, you can definitely reach out to me and we will try to answer you.
Yes, I would like to add a bit in it, Dr. Khairunisa. I'm not sure if you have attended our previous session, which was about working in EU.
I missed first part of it, but I managed to catch later part of it.
Because we have explained how to apply, where to look for a job, which would definitely can assist you also to look and locate a job in different countries. Yeah, the recording is available on YouTube. You can have a look.
Right. If I can ask about postdoctoral fellowships in Europe, and that can open any kind of doors towards the academia for me.
Yes, definitely. You can also go for postdoctorate. You have to just motivate yourself in your application why you want to choose a postdoctorate as a path to develop yourself in academic career. Most of the time, your application will be processed by the department you are applying to. So they will try to see whether your previous work, you said political science, right, or international
development studies. Yeah.
So then there are a lot of social sciences department which are looking for people like you. Even in Germany, I mean, don't be afraid that Germany is a country where only German, especially at this level, at the postgraduate level, at the PhD level and onward, there are a lot of research groups which are working on international projects, getting funding from European Union, European Research Council, or German Scientific Society. They are willing to fund these kind of projects. So if you come up with a proposal, reach out to them. You can start as a postdoc, but postdoc can be 1 year or 2 years. And then depending on your publication history, you can go into the tenure track of becoming an assistant professor and onwards.
One important thing, sorry, Dr. Khairunisa, do you have further question?
No, thank you. I just want email IDs of both of you. Maybe I'll have some more questions, and I don't want to cut off others' time.
All right, so no issue, Dr. Khair and Musa. I'll just text you the email IDs of both the
Yes.
speakers.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. So I'll ask
Maybe,
Arbaz Ahmed to talk now.
please.
Arbaz, kindly unmute yourself.
Assalamu alaikum. Am I audible?
Yes.
So basically, I'm doing a master's in thermal sciences and energy system from India. So I've got some 3-4 questions. So please bear with me. Basically, our university has a kind of MOU, an agreement with many of the European countries, and so will it help by any way? So second question is German language B1 or B2? So is it mandatory for the PhD? And third one is I've got like my thesis ends in the May last week. So how what's the impact of COVID on intakes by June first week or in month of June? Yes, sir. Thank you.
So
All
three
right.
questions first, or do you want to go?
I can just give a quite overview on this. So yes, MOU will help you definitely find the partner universities, find the related departments. German language is not always required depending on what you are going to focus on and which department it is. So I would say safely 90% cases in PhD projects, you don't need a German language. And finally, what was the third question?
COVID.
COVID impact. Yes, COVID impact has definitely made a lot of things slow down, but then things are opening up, and PhD applications and research applications are normally around the year. So there is no specific deadline. You have to see what are the possibilities. And whenever the funding comes, it starts. So now I think after October onwards, there is always a good time to start looking around.
Okay, one last question, please. Thank you. So basically, my field of interest is in aerospace and aeronautics. So, what's the how much like uh, how's the opportunities of these fields in European countries in general?
Very good. So
Okay, thank you.
aviation sector is quite good, and Germany is quite leading in that. There are German space agency, just look for dlr.de, DLR. That's one of the research, it's equivalent to the NASA kind of thing. But yes, aviation industry, because of the Airbus is a conglomerate, is a company which is merged with all the European countries. Aviation industry, there are a lot of opportunities in combination with automation, mechanics, avionics. So yes, you have a good chance here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Arbaz. So next I'll allow Mr. Ali Nasser to talk. Kindly unmute yourself.
Hello, Assalamu alaikum.
Hello.
Okay, I have basically I have two questions. So the first one is
Can you
there?
please a bit louder speak?
Yeah, am I audible now?
Yeah, you are.
Yes.
Okay, I have two questions. The first one is there any minimum GPA requirement for pursuing PhD? And the next question is, does rank of universities matter in general? Like, if I do not get into top 5 universities of Germany and get some other ones, would it affect my research in a negative way?
The GPA requirement, no, there is no requirement for GPA. Okay. If you have been there from the very beginning, the requirements I have mentioned is you have completed and passed your post-graduation, your master's degree. This is a requirement. They will not look at your GPA. What they look at,
Okay,
mainly two things. One is your research proposal, and second one is your motivation letter. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Once again, rankings. German universities have no rankings. Okay, they don't believe in ranking. They don't invest money in PR to become one of the university in QR international rankings at all. Any university which has the research topic or the area that you are interested in is the
sir.
best university available for you. Okay.
Okay, sir. Yes.
You need to look at the contents and the industry somehow connected to this university or research group. And this is the thing that you should look at and not at the rankings at all.
Okay.
You know, for
So,
everyone, generally ranking, but what are rankings? You know, one university student pays 50,000 euros for one semester, and one university student pays 2,000 euro for one semester. Definitely 50,000 euro per semester university has a better ranking, right? Germany, everything, especially education and research, is funded by the government. Higher Education Commission of Germany make sure that the quality of education, research, and all the related facilities are given at the state of the art level. The only difference sometimes we see here is different courses available in different universities. Because, for example, automobile. Now, if a university is offering automobile engineering and has industry available also in the vicinity and the same area or the city or the state, then this program has better ranking as compared to other university in Germany. Otherwise, there is no ranking system to follow in Germany. Okay.
okay, so thank you.
I think more on that. It
Yes.
also depends on the reputation of the department, especially in PhD cases. It is very important what are the output of the department in terms of good ranking publications and so on. So university ranking is not that imperative. What is important is the department you are applying to, what is their status with respect to the research output. If that is good, doesn't matter even if it is in a small town, it has a good name. But then again, you have to look into other aspects also, like depending on what kind of topic you are interested in. And this is not only applicable to Germany, but it is also broader than that. So in other European countries, ranking is not that significant, especially for PhD. It's all about research related reputation, which is based on publication and what kind of work they are doing and what is their grants.
So for that information, I have to look for the websites of the respective universities, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, you have to zoom in a bit more into not only the university, but the department. That is what in this talk, I also wanted to give you, all of you, an understanding that your PhD is rotating around the topic you are interested in. If you are interested in a mechanical engineering topic, look for the mechanical engineering department. If you're interested in social sciences, political sciences, look for that. Don't go for the University of Berlin or University of Paris and so on. It doesn't matter. Even a University of Frankfurt or something which is unknown, but if the department is doing good work, you will be really having a right position. So start from bottom up, start from looking at what topic you are interested, which are the people working on those topic, which department has a good support there, network there. That is your starting point, rather than going other way around, looking at the top universities like Cambridge and so on. Of course, they are good ones. I mean, I wouldn't deny that Cambridge University, Oxford University has a name, but going to other universities, that doesn't make you any way less just because you are in a different. They are all collaborating. Once you will come here, you have a lot of opportunity during your PhD to even go and work for 6 months at Stanford University or Oxford University. So you will get a platform here which also allows you to collaborate with any of the top names which you have heard so far.
Okay, so thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Ali. So I'll allow Colonel Faraz to talk now. Kindly unmute yourself and go ahead with your question.
Thank you so much. Am I audible, please?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much to the speakers and to AMP. My wife has already completed her post-graduation in education, that is Masters of Education, and she already has about 4 years of teaching experience. So if we look for PhD prospects for her, first of all, my first question is during the duration of PhD, I mean, amongst generally all the countries would allow the family to come along. Family means the kids per se, because
Yes.
I may not be able to. And
Yes.
yeah, second is the duration of the PhD. Will it be counted towards the duration of stay in particular with regards to the PR subsequently? So the duration of the PhD, will it be counted towards it, or it would be at a subsequent stage once she is done with her PhD, and that is the time onwards that the duration would be counted? Like, how will it be?
I can add a bit here that if your PhD is not a studentship, if it is not based on some kind of university grants, or if you're just like people that come here, they do on their own, What is counted towards residentship is when you are starting to pay the taxes. So when you start to earn here, even as a student, people, when they start as a student, half of the student time is counted towards the residency time.
Okay.
Once people start to work,
Okay.
once they start to pay taxes, they contribute, that's when the time starts actually towards the residency, which is on average 5 years in all the European countries, when you are eligible after 5 years to apply for the citizenship or permanent residentship. If you are funded, if you are working as a, if the company or institute hires your wife to become an employee for them, then from the day one, the day she lands onwards, she will be considered as, her time starts from that time. The only condition is that there should be no interruption. So if she's staying here for 3 years and then for 2 months she goes to India, comes back again, there is a gap there. So that gap should not be there. So there should be a continuous stay of 5 years for that. Concerning the topic of what she has been doing, yes, she has done already masters in education, right? Or
yeah, that's right. That's right. She's done it, and she's done it from a central university in India.
All right. So yeah, yes, indeed, she is eligible for that. Depending on her focus, if she has done research-related work, there is a high chances that she will be hired for research position. If there is no research in her previous work up until the Masters of Education, then there are some possibilities that she will be required to do some kind of orientation, meet few coursework. But in general, yes, she is eligible to apply here for PhD.
Roger. So lastly, I'll not take anybody's time, but if I may just request for the email IDs of the speakers. I've been attending previous this thing also. There are certain time there are questions, if I may request.
Definitely.
Thank you so much.
Definitely, Colonel Faraz, for you and to all the attendees who are asking for the contact details of both the speakers, I will definitely email so that you can directly connect to both. Yeah.
Thank you so very much. Thank you. So kind of you.
Yeah. Thank you. So next, I'll allow Mr. Faraz. Faraz or Fayaz? Yeah, Mr. Fayaz. Kindly unmute yourself, Mr. Fayaz, and ask your question. Mr. Fayaz Khan.
Assalamu alaikum. Sir, I have done my MCA from Pune University Applied College, and I have never published any research paper or never written any thesis, and I don't have any recommendation. So can I apply for PhD in EU?
Fiaz, thank you very much, first of all, for the questions. It is strange to know you have done your MCA. MCA is Masters in Computer Application, correct?
Yes, correct.
So even in your bachelor's, you didn't do any thesis or project work?
No, not any project in bachelor also.
How come? I mean, it is strange that universities are awarding degrees without submitting a project or research. But anyway, like you don't have any publication, you never have done research work. So research is, I mean, quite a different field. So you need to be very motivated to do a PhD. You should know different techniques of writings and doing research, as well as writing the research, whatever publication you are going to do. So maybe if you can look into this topic, what is a research publication, how to write, I mean, the quality of research, quality of publication, it really matters. Okay. For me, I have done 3 masters, just for the sake of an example. I have not gone for a PhD because I know this is purely theoretical work. And if I am not the person who would be, I mean, interested in doing research and writing the publication, PhD is not for me. Okay. Yeah. You have done MCA. Yes. If you have some work experience in your field, you can apply for a job and come here.
Okay.
Right? I can recommend you. If you're not into research, if you're not into publications, and you don't have experience, on one hand, it is really difficult to get a position, PhD research position. On the other hand, it is not something that you like to do. Okay, once again, it's your decision. I can recommend you to look for a job. We have done a whole session, the previous session, how to get a job in EU countries, in Germany. maybe you can look at the recorded sessions and it might help you.
Okay, sir. Sir, but I am also interested in research also now.
Yeah, sure. Then please follow the guidelines. You need to do some, your own research. First of all, finding out what is a research, because I have seen a couple of questions. Why do we need to do research in PhD, right? So it is main important part is doing research, which is a contribution for the further development.
Yeah.
That is why at the end of the day, you are entitled with this title of doctor.
Yeah.
And without research, it's not possible to do a PhD or complete a PhD. Especially in the field of business, there's a term called Doctor of Business Administration, DBA. There it has very less amount of research or very few or even not. You have a given syllabus you need to follow and you need to submit the reports, but no research. But any other field in computer sciences, definitely there is, you need to write publications and do the research according to the given topic.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Fayaz. So I'll allow Mohammad Isran to talk. Mohammad Isran, kindly unmute yourself.
Yeah, I can hear you. Actually, I have a question. I have done my MSc in Food Science and Technology from India, and currently I am in UAE. I am just doing a job in the food processing industry. So I just want to switch to EU countries like Germany. So what would be the better option for me, like a PhD or a job? So I just have one question only.
I think you can explore both, or you should explore both. If you have the mentality, if you have the, after doing a PhD, most of the time you will be working in academics, okay? Or in a research institute. You will mostly not be working in an industry like a normal job that you are doing now. So if you are the person who is more into academics and research and theory, definitely you can look for a PhD or research position. Otherwise, if you have good work experience in a good company, it is also possible to look for a job in Europe or in Germany.
Okay, so how can I get a job in Germany or France or Netherlands?
If you go to AMP YouTube channel, our last session was about how to get a job.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Most welcome.
You can also look for Netherlands, because the topic you are doing is also, there are a lot of work going on in the Netherlands. There are a lot of food industries here. So you should try to find out something there as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mohammad Isran. So next I'll allow Mr. Ghazi Nazir to talk. Kindly unmute yourself and ask your question. Mr. Ghazi.
Hello.
Yeah. Hi.
Hello. Assalamu alaikum. Sir, I'm Ghazi Nazir from Kashmir. Sir, actually, I have my background. I have completed my bachelor's in electronics and communication engineering. And after that, due to my personal interest, I had shifted over to humanities side. I actually wanted to do a research in a topic which contained both the elements, that of science as well as social sciences. But unfortunately, due to certain limitations, I could not get a research topic of my choice in the university here. Currently, I am pursuing the doctorate in one of the universities of Kashmir. But as I said, the topic is not according to my choice. You, in the very beginning of the session, told us that the research programs over there are primarily divided into structured and individual type. So is it possible that if I will go for individual PhD programs, that I can pursue my PhD here as well as there? Is it possible? Or I should necessarily be present over there?
Who's going to take this question?
I can take this question, sure. Yes, Mr. Ghazi Nazir. Important for me is now to understand what is your topic.
Sir, I actually wanted to work on Richard Dawkins. He has written some books, The Selfish Gene, and the other one is what do we say, the God delusion, and those kind of things, which primarily present science as an argument against the religion. So I wanted to pursue modern atheistic trends, but unfortunately here in Kashmir, I was not allowed to go for that topic due to certain limitations.
Okay. If you have a nice research proposal, a topic, and you can definitely look for PhD position anywhere in Europe. Yeah, but I believe it won't be possible to pursue both PhDs, staying there and staying here. You need to move here and do your research, or if your PhD research require you to move around or live somewhere else, and then it is possible. Otherwise, you have to be here to do your research.
So both, sir, for unstructured program as well, that is the individual type you're talking about.
It would be possible only in the individual PhD type that you can apply for, because I don't see anything related to structured PhD program that you're looking for according to your topic. But in individual PhD type, definitely it will be possible.
Nazir, in your case, since you are focusing on countering Richard Dawkins, he's a known atheist. The point is that you have to really motivate your research topic, find how you can define your proposal, and come up. Of course, the point is that if you are able to write your proposal and give a kind of argument into your proposal, send it around to a lot of research departments. In Germany, at Munich University, there is a special focus on this type of topic. In Netherlands, at Leiden University, there is a focus on this topic. There are different units, there are different groups which are focusing on this kind of evolutionary biology together with the societal impact of that on faith and so on. Explore that, see if there is a possibility where you could actually conduct your research, and then look around for who are the funders who can actually sponsor your project. So that is the key message I think you should take from here.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Ghazi. So now I'll allow Ms. Madhya to talk. Madhya, kindly unmute yourself. Hello.
Hello.
Yes,
We
hello.
cannot hear you properly. Kindly speak a bit louder.
Hello.
Yes,
Yeah.
go ahead. Speak up here.
So my sister is studying BBA now. So she was detained in first year. So the similar this degree, what should I study?
Please be very clear with your question, as in, like, you just said that your sister was doing BBA, but then she was detained in first year. So, okay,
Yeah.
I think you can directly connect with both the speakers of the session for this question.
Yeah.
Will that be okay? All right.
It was not clearly audible, actually.
Hello.
Please repeat. Try to repeat once again, little louder.
So let's move on to the next attendee's question. I'll connect him to you both after the session is done.
Okay.
So I'll allow Mr. Shami Noor to talk. Kindly unmute yourself, Mr. Shami.
Yes. Assalamu alaikum.
Oh, yes. Walaikum Assalam. Sorry.
My question is for ki, if I want to, but I just want to give my background. I've done my BTech in mechanical engineering and MTech in thermal engineering from Delhi Jamia Millia Islamia University, with 10 years of experience in energy efficiency field. Now I want to go into research work, since I was with the government agency working for policy making in field of energy efficiency. So I want to go for PhD program. So is it possible if, because I am having my kid also, so that is it possible that I can carry her along with me and how the funding will be done in that case, because once you live with your family, then the expenses gets increased. So that is one of my question. And if the PhD matlab, student visa I get, then is it possible to get a family visa for that also? This is my question, sir.
Yes, so thank you for your question, Shami. For you, I think you said you done bachelor's, or have you done master's as well?
Yes, masters in thermal engineering. Yes, I have done it.
Okay, so yes, you are eligible to apply for our PhD program. During your PhD program, you will be funded. If you have funding for your PhD, you are also eligible to bring in your family, including your spouse and your children. And for expenses, of course, it's always different, because living individually is not, you can manage, but when you're a family, you need more expenses. So your partner is also allowed to work, being a dependent on you. So he can also find an opportunity here. Uh, education here Education here is free for the children. So if for example you come to Germany and your kids go to German school, you won't have to pay for that. If they go to the English school or international schools, then the fees are high, and that's something you have to think about. But on average, you can also, within the PhD funding, you can also sponsor your family together with your children. And as I said, on average, you need about, with family, you need about 1,200 euros a month in Germany. There are also, depending on what is your lifestyle and so on. But that is an absolute minimum you should keep in mind.
Yeah.
And the good thing is, I want to add here, good thing is the funding, if you are, you get the funding depends on your family status. If you have kids, you will get more money. Okay, and money would be enough to cover all the expenses of all the family members coming in with you. Okay, so you will have enough money which will cover the expenses. You don't need to, or anyone else need to work in family to earn money for living. But important thing is to get the funding, apply and get the funding. As you have done work in public sector also with policy making teams, I think it would be not difficult to apply and get a scholarship and funding directly from DAAD.
Great. One more thing that I need to ask, because my husband is in banking industry, is in working with Axis Bank. So if he'll come along with me, then is it possible that he also gets a job over there easily, or is there any procedure for that also, how to get into a job?
If he will come as a dependent with PhD or research person, he would be allowed to apply and get a job in his related field or any other field. Okay, getting into related field, it would be helpful if he would speak some German language. Of course, in banking system, depending on now banking structure is also, somehow changing, more online, less contact with the customers doing in the banks, but still having knowledge of German language will improve the chances of getting a job in banking sector.
Thanks a lot, sir. It was very informative, so that we can look forward for it. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Allah Hafiz.
Thank you, Shami. Now I'll allow Mr. Azhar Tariq Khan to talk. Kindly unmute yourself. Mr. Azhar.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah, I understood. Sorry. I did my master degree in chemistry from Jamia Millia Islamia, New Delhi. Due to the pandemic, I could not complete my research project, which was scheduled to be held in the final semester. That's why, and this is the main problem. I don't have any publication right now. But I do have a research proposal and a recommendation too. So what should be my next step, as you suggest, please? What is your suggestion to, should I seek for a PhD position, or I should do a research publication? Please please.
I would recommend to do both things parallelly. Start looking for a PhD position and funding, And as well as once you get time and opportunity to do your publications, do it also.
Yes, it helps you to get a PhD with a publication. Uh, Publication has a very strong weightage in your application. But then again, you have to decide yourself what is your own wish to go forward. And also do a kind of a self-evaluation. Are you having that kind of temperament to work in research, write publication? This will be a job of you throughout the years. You have to think that whether you are someone who would like to work on new ideas. Are you a good public speaker? Because during the process, you have to publish your paper, go to the conferences, speak about your work. So these kind of assessment you should do before you should make up your mind. For PhD, there are a lot of good opportunities here. And PhD is also, it is like a job, but it also gives you an opportunity to come here without going through all the hassles for finding a job and corporate job. And so, because that's more competitive and more difficult. When you are more focused on your PhD topic, it's easier to come to the European side because then your application is processed by a research institute or a university. So I think you have to self-motivate yourself to see how you want to proceed.
Thanks a lot, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Azhar. So next, I'll allow Mohammed Nafiz Nadeem to talk. Kindly unmute yourself and ask your question. Mr. Nafiz, you need to unmute yourself first.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, now we can.
This is Nafiz. I have done my BCA. After that, I got a job in the reputed company called TCS, Tata Consultancy Service, as a software engineer, software developer. This is the #1 company in India. Okay. After that, after 1 year, I have left my job and went for MCA. This is the 3-year program, MCA, Master of Computer Application. This is the 3 years program, and now I am in 2nd year. So after that, I want to do a PhD in artificial intelligence. Sir, could you please suggest on that?
Yes, Nafiz, in your case, you have to again look for why you want to do artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is a very broad topic, and you have to find your specialization where you want to focus. There is definitely a possibility to go for PhD in artificial intelligence. In the session, I also mentioned what are the key requirements for doing the PhD. You should also focus on writing skills. That is one of the key requirement. Most of the institute where you will apply, they will expect to see your written work, either in the form of master thesis or in terms of any of the publication. If you think you are good at it or you can do that way, so definitely you have the possibility to go for PhD.
I would like to add one thing for all the listeners. The first point I have mentioned, the steps towards PhD is to get your degree recognized, or degrees, for example, bachelor's and master's. Sometimes this, how much I know is this BCA is a 3-year degree. Correct me if I'm wrong, Nafiz.
It
Yes,
is
sir, this is 3 year.
Once again, I was unable to hear.
This is 3-year degree.
Exactly. So not all 3 years degrees are considered as bachelor degrees in Germany. Okay, very important. So sometimes even if you have an MCA, together with MCA, your total education is of 17 years, correct?
Yes, sir, 3 years MCA plus.
Yes, totally 17 years. In order to have enough credits to complete a master's degree, usually you need 18 years of education. Okay. In your case or similar cases, it is recommended mostly to have an MPhil if possible. Okay. Any field of study, and then look for a PhD. Otherwise, most of the application after 17 years of education from home country, they are not considered as right candidate for a PhD position in Germany at least. So first step I have mentioned was to check if your degree you have done is considered or accredited or recognized as a bachelor's and master's degree in Germany. Okay.
Okay,
Yes,
Nofis?
sir. Yeah, I have a question. One more question. This is which country will speak English speaking country will better for the PhD in computer science?
All the countries here, most of the PhD will be in English. So you can think of any of the countries.
This is also one point I wanted to put some light on because one of the listener or participant, Arbaz, has asked about the language. Yeah. In at least in 90% of the PhD positions offered, you can submit your dissertation, your research work, and present it and defend it in English language. There is no requirement to have German language. Very few programs which are structured PhD programs. For these type of programs, you definitely need C1 level of German language in order even to qualify and apply. Okay, but 90% of the programs, you don't need any German language to apply or write your research papers or defend yourself. But generally, whichever country you go, if you speak and know a bit of the language of that country, it would help you to socialize yourself, because sometimes you're working in a group and you have your social life. It is good to have the language of that country. Okay.
Correct. So next I'll allow Mr. Firoz Ahmed Bakshi to talk. Kindly unmute yourself and ask your question. Mr. Firoz?
You are not audible.
Mr. Firoz, we are not able to hear you. All right, so next I'll allow Mohammed Ibrahim to talk. Kindly unmute yourself, Mohammed Ibrahim. We are not able. Yeah.
Am I audible?
You
Just
are.
now.
Yeah. I'm Mohammed Ibrahim, currently pursuing PhD in mechanical engineering. I'm in my second year, currently studying in University Malaya, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. So I have two questions. The first one is about the postdoc opportunities. Like, is there any language requirement specific for the postdoc? And related to that is after postdoc, what are the chances of getting into academia as a lecturer or an assistant professor?
Danish, you can take it.
Have you followed the session for today's, or because?
Yeah.
Can you repeat briefly, because I was slightly distracted reading through the questions.
Okay. For the postdoc, what are the chances of getting a postdoc opportunities after PhD, and after postdoc, how we can get into academia in Europe and in Germany, like for lecturer or assistant professor?
Yes.
Please also mention again which university you are doing your PhD from.
University Malaya, Kuala Lumpur.
Okay. So yes, for postdoc, most of the time, almost 50% of the time, people do postdoc after their PhD. And after postdoc, most of the time, if you are interested in academia, you have to write proposal, look for where you could get the fundings from. Because after postdoc, it is expected that you have become an independent researcher. And then if you are interested in going for tenure track, like assistant professorship, associate, and so on, then you have to really convince wherever you are applying that you have good publication, H-index, if you can check on that, good high rated publications on the topic that you are interested in. And there are open vacancies for these kind of positions. So you could apply with any of the European universities or research institutes for assistant professorship after your postdoc positions. You can also do multiple postdocs. If you have already done it, you can come here for another postdoc. And while you are doing it, you can also apply for other academic positions, which is related to your work. So there are different opportunities here. And yes, you will be very well funded in those kind of work as well.
Thank you for that. Currently, I'm in my second year of my PhD. So basically, I have one more question related to Germany. Like last year, I applied for binationally supervised PhD in Germany through DEED, but unfortunately, I couldn't crack it. I was unable to make it. So this year, I'm trying to apply once again. So can you please help me on that?
And
Yes, I have mentioned different ways, but like you have applied on DAAD together with the funding, correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
So maybe you can choose a different way, find a PhD alone, and then apply for a funding. Because that type of funding and PhD positions are very limited. You can handful of them, and you can imagine at least thousands of people apply for the same 10 positions, right? So better would be to parallelly look for individual PhD position, not through DAD, but then apply for funding for this.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, there are other possibilities also. DAD is just one of the possibilities, and it is also quite competitive, but that is not the limit. You know, there are different research departments funding, there are internal funding, there are open positions you can apply. So try to expand your search, try to apply to different places, and whichever way you come here, it will be okay. It doesn't matter if you come via DAD or otherwise. So I think once you are hired for a PhD position and there is a funding available, you are good to go further with that.
So actually, I'm currently in my second year of my PhD. So basically, it's like I want to have an exchange program kind of a thing. So I'm looking for that.
Yeah, that's also possible. You can also look for the department, find whether they have an open position for you for doing short-term research. That is also possible, that you can come here for a short-term exchange research, spend 6 months, 7 months time, ask for the professor if there is a funding available during that time. And while you are here, you can also try to negotiate. So it's a thing where you have to really be proactive, see who is doing what, and even if there is a sandwich program, short-term program, try to negotiate if there is a funding. And most of the time there is. I've seen people coming from different countries, from Korea, from Iran, from other places. And I think that's even advisable, that you come for a short time, 5 months, 6 months in a project, partly funded, and then see if there are further opportunities to go in that direction. So yes, I think you should definitely explore.
I have a message to all the listeners. Getting funding from beginning is not important, but getting a PhD or research position is important. That is why I have prepared all the slides. Funding is secondary issue. I know that people need money to live or survive. Yeah, but there are different possibilities of it. You are allowed to work. You are allowed to go for research assistant position. You are allowed to apply for external fundings or internal fundings. So from the very beginning in the offer, if funding is not there, this should not be an issue at all. Okay, getting a PhD is important. Getting an offer for research is important.
I can also add something which all of you can also consider is, if you are at the level of, finishing your master's studies, many of you can actually apply for PhD. So rather, many of you have already said, I'm interested in master's program and I want to come for master's studies. Sometimes it's even good to complete your master's study there and then apply for PhD, because PhD gives you a longer term contract. It gives you almost 3 to 4 years of work contract. That gives you enough time to come here, to orient yourself, to learn the language, and to move forward. So I think those of you who are at the dilemma whether I should do masters first or or move for masters and then do for PhD, it's really interesting. It's really important that you should first focus on completing your master's program, and then you can also come afterwards for a PhD, which is a longer term contract, and that gives you a lot of time to really find new opportunities. And when you are here, it is not an end. If you come here for a PhD position, you can still apply for other opportunities. You can still apply for jobs. You can still apply for something which is more relevant to you. So first step is to come from there to here, where you have a platform to look for other opportunities. If you do find an opportunity, you can leave. People come here for one step, and then if they don't find it interesting, they can move on. So you try to think it in that way, that it becomes a launching pad for you to come here for a PhD, and then also look around for other opportunities which is interesting to you.
Sometimes I have also seen candidates who were unable to get a PhD, but they were interested to go for a PhD. They came here for a master's program, a second or third or fourth master's. Being here, you have an opportunity to introduce yourself, present yourself in front of the supervisor. That is why one important aspect is those who are now doing their bachelor's and are looking for higher education, maybe also research later on in Europe somewhere, they can already come for a master's degree program here. And then because you are already under a supervision of a professor, they know how you work, they know how you integrate yourself in the group. So getting a PhD after completion of a master's degree here is more than, I mean, applying from a third country, okay? Because usually the supervisor, they don't know your attitude, they don't know you if you can integrate into the group or not. That is why it is a bit difficult than being here. Even if you get an opportunity for a second master or third master, still take this opportunity. Like Danish said, it is a platform for you. You can come and then switch again. Once you are here, you can present yourself, meet the supervisors and professors and ask them that you are actually looking and qualified already and looking to go for a research and PhD position, which is more easier than applying from your own country.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. I got a message from Mr. Firoz Ahmed Bakshi that since we see that he was not able to talk, but I'll just read his question. It is, Assalamu alaikum, I did MSc in IT and now I'm doing MSc Advanced Research in AI with robotics from UK. Keeping in mind about permanent settlement, is it good idea to do PhD from UK or EU?
I think it's a good idea to come to EU. Of course, after Brexit, things will change. UK is a bit more competitive. All of you who are inclined towards UK because it's an English-speaking country, it is an idea also to give you a message that you have equal opportunity also in the other part of the European countries. And our intention with this series of talks was also to make all of you aware that even in the European side, there are a lot of possibilities. So back to the question, yes, if you find an opportunity in EU, European Union countries, it is more interesting because, as I said, your PhD will be considered as a job. And when you start working here, your time starts counting towards the permanent residence status, which may or may not be the case in UK. If you are working there, they still follow a studentship kind of position, which means you will remain a student while you are doing a PhD. So this is the advantage, and this is the reason why I say towards EU for PhD is a better model than continuing in UK. However, since you have done your master's there, you have already built up your residence status, you are more familiar. So I think in this topic, especially AI and robotics, these are very hot topics. There is a lot of opportunities going on. And in PhD related work, your contact with the professor is the key factor. The relationship that you build up with your professor is always a determining factor for you to continue your research. So that's why you should really evaluate in the environment you are, whether it is favorable for you to continue PhD there. Otherwise, the European side is also possible.
Perfect. So I'll allow this username Galaxy M31 to talk now. Kindly ask your question. First of all, just tell us about you because
Okay.
I'm not able to see your name.
Okay. Can I audible?
Yes, you
I'm
are
audible.
audible.
We can hear you.
Okay. Myself, I'm in pharmacology and toxicology. My question is that I have research experience in preclinical research. That means the research conducting on animals. So I am asking that in which Arab country or Germany I would apply for the preclinical research.
Europeans love animals, and there's huge research going on. Okay.
Okay.
So the choice of the country, I mean, may depend on the particular area or topic that you are, I mean, interested to go for research. But I think equally in most of the European countries, you would find an opportunity to do your research. Like Netherlands, like Holland, you can go to France, Switzerland, all Sweden, Denmark, all of these countries offers, I mean, good infrastructure, research possibilities, and specifically the area of research that you're working at.
One more thing here, because you're focusing on animal research or clinical research, there are certain requirements by the institute because it is a protected profession. Not everyone is allowed to, because there are a lot of ethics in it. That's why you have to find out what are the requirements before you could apply for those kind of positions. They need to also ask for a special certificate where you will be eligible to continue working with the animals because of ethical reasons. I know of some of the research, for example, on the mouse, on the rats, they do research on testing different kind of medicine for cancer research and so on. But there are a lot of ethical principles in there. There are animal research. So that's why you have to find out what are the criteria to let you be eligible for those things first. In Europe in general, you will find a lot of places, Netherlands, Germany, Denmark, Sweden, Switzerland also, where you can find out related work, what you are interested in.
Okay, thank you so much, and both of the Imran sir and Dani sir deliver a very nice session. Thank you. I have in a concise manner, in a short duration of time, you have explained and very well. Thank you. Jazakallah khair.
You're welcome.
Thank you. That was so nice to hear that. So I see that 2 hands are raised. So I'll allow Mr. Arbaz Ahmed to talk. I see his question is open in Q&A also. So yes, Mr. Arbaz.
Yeah, am I audible now?
Yes, you are.
Yeah, this is the second time, so sorry for that. So basically, I also mentioned in the Q&A. So is it possible to bring your family in the middle of PhD? And second thing is, so there are a few countries like there's a fees for PhD. Imran sir said there's no fees in Germany, but for example, UK there are fees, and probably in Sweden I think there's fees for PhD. So what is the general concept of fees in European countries? And yeah, on those two questions, please.
So
One of our session was about education in general in Europe. We have mentioned 2 countries where there is no fees. Okay, one of them is Germany. Okay, and if you are aiming at Germany, there is no fee but funding available. If you look at other European countries, you definitely have to secure the funding for this also. So if you secure the funding, which will cover, there are different types of funding: partial funding, fully funded programs, which covers your fees as well as living expenses. Some funding programs cover only the fees, and some only cover only the living expenses. So if you look at other countries where education is not funded by the government or subsidized by the government, you need to secure a funding or scholarship.
Okay.
And it is possible to bring your family in the middle of your PhD, no problem.
Okay.
The family, it is only the spouse and the children. For parents, there is always a temporary visa. They can only come for a maximum of 3 months.
Right.
Or for the wives and for children, definitely they can come as long as you are here.
Okay. Sorry, one more last question. So I got a PDF of a Switzerland. So it's basically a third-party funding. So how? What's the possibilities of getting PhD if I have already funding from third party before enrolling to PhD?
Yes, then you have to talk to the research department. Tell them that you are an externally funded PhD. What you are saying, third party.
Yeah.
The same word we would use here is externally funded PhD position. And in that case, you say that I cover my expenses through third party, and then try to negotiate with the department, with the professor, whether they would like to embed you into their department, and then you can conduct the research together. And then you also can explain how long is your third-party funding is there, if it is for 1 year or for the complete duration of the PhD. If it is not the case, how would you pursue after that time? Or if you can write a joint proposal. So first year of your PhD is really building up a relationship with your research institute, with your professor, writing the paper together, getting it published, showing that you are a very motivated person. And if you can successfully do these things, they will help you, because professors have normally good grants here. They have good money in their hand. They can write very well, and they can get good funding as well. So they can create opportunities. So all of you who are listening, they should focus on identifying the research group, identifying the supervisor. And if they can build a good relationship there, they can definitely move on from there by applying to new funding positions and all. So they definitely like people who are more motivated, and they can continue with that. So you should, in your case, you should look for externally funded PhD positions. And if the department is willing to accept you, you can continue from there. Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Baz. So next I'll allow Ms. Zahida to talk. Kindly unmute yourself and ask your question. Ms. Zahida, we are not able to hear you yet.
Assalamu alaikum, sir. I'm Zahida. My question is, in which type of PhD most of the people apply? In individual or in structured, and which is having more scope to get a job? And second
Mostly,
question, I have few research experience in different research institute under Government of India. But the thing is that to whom under I work, those principal scientists, they all retired now. So can I keep them as my reference? And third question, what is
Ms. Zahida? Oh,
we are unable to hear your third question. The first two questions, most of the people apply not for structured PhD because these are limited programs available. Okay. And which means other way around, most of them apply for non-structured or individual PhD program. Yes, you may give the reference of those who are retired, and it is okay.
As long as they are available to speak on your behalf.
Yeah.
No, she said that they are dead. They are deceased.
Oh, so in that, it's hard to, yeah.
No, it's, I mean, there is no need to give
their references.
such, yeah.
All right. So I think I have our third question open in the Q&A round. So it is, how do we come to know when there is any vacancy for PhD in non-university research institute arises?
So you should actually look for the research institutes on their website. They advertise the position. Depending on whatever topic you are interested in, try to search for those institutes which are offering the program in that topic. Go to their website, look at the vacancies there, see if they matches to yours. Even if they don't have a vacancies, but if they are related to what you are interested in, try to reach out to them, write them an open email, ask them that if they can create a position for you. So that is the way to go. And research institutes are often embedded within the university, because to get a degree, you need an affiliation from a university. Research institute independently are not in a capacity to offer a doctorate degree. So even if you work for a research institute, it has to be somehow connected to any of the universities. So that is the idea. You can reach out to individual research institute, find a position there, talk to the people, and then find who would supervise you at the university level, and then your work will continue like that.
All right, Zahida. So next I'll allow Mr. Syed Basha to talk. Kindly unmute yourself and ask your question.
Yeah, Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Syed Basha, working in Kuwait. I'm 43 years old. I have done my MBA. Okay, I'm working as a cybersecurity consultant. So all these years I have piled up a very good experience. Now, I had a commitment, so I couldn't pursue my, PhD or any other, master's degree. So will it possible for me to do, in such age? And this is my question.
So age is not the criteria. Your formal qualification is the minimum requirement for your getting a PhD program, getting into a PhD program. Again, depending on you did MBA, so your specialization defines in which direction you can go in your PhD. Again, so you have to reach out to the departments, look for individual positions, and then apply for that. I assume, I think Imran can also help me with that, whether MBA is a minimum criteria also for a PhD position. There is a yes and no kind of situation. In many universities, they do accept if your PhD is also related to what you have done. And otherwise, they will also expect more of a scientific kind of degree, either MSc with a research thesis and publication. So yes, you are at this age definitely most welcome. And on your topic, cyber security and these kind of things, you can still work here, and there are a lot of opportunities.
Yes, I would also say MBA is more a professional degree. It's not, scientific degree or academic degree. So usually after having done an MBA program, you don't go for a research or PhD in like IT. You have worked or experience in IT. Only or maximum opportunities to look for a Doctor of Business Administration, which compares to your previous background or education, is relevant. Yeah, but if you're looking for a PhD in cybersecurity or IT security field, you definitely need to have a degree in IT as well, master's degree.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Sir. So I'll just take few more questions and then we'll wrap up the session. We have a very young attendee today. She's in class 9th. Her question is, hi, I am in class 9th and I want to study abroad for better education. Which place would be best, or will you suggest me for that? So she's Miss Sidra Khan. So I'm happy that we are getting students like her at this age.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, that shows a lot of motivation towards education and being a girl child.
Welcome, Sidra, to our session, and I hope you bring a lot of students like you to our sessions in the near future.
Yes. In my 9th class, I was thinking about whether I should choose biology or chemistry and mathematics, but then I chose for mathematics. The thing is, yes, you have to start building up your interest, try to find which topic interests you. If you want to come here, of course, a lot of universities at your age and at your point of time, you have an opportunity to even go to a country where you can learn new language and, you can always build up. So yes, start to, structure your thoughts in terms of what you want to do after your schooling time. Professionally, although it's too much of pressure to think in that forward way, but then it's good that you can already think, and once you have completed your higher education, at least up until your schooling level, you will be having a more clear picture of your interest and what you want to do. In Europe, yes, you have other opportunities also to come here for bachelor's in whatever field you are interested. And you can, of course, reach out to us at any point of time in future to ask a more specific question on that.
Perfect. Thank you, sir. So next question I'll take, it is by Abdul Rahman Abdulaziz. Sir, what is the English language criteria?
For what? Depending, again, you need English language is formally required for pursuing your higher education here. If you are going to PhD, we are talking about PhD in this session, but in general also, English language is expected to have in certain bands in IELTS or TOEFL. For PhD programs, formally English language certificate is not required if you have done publications in English you can always convince your department that you have done your work in English. So, but for master's program and for other degree programs or bachelor's program, you need English as a language with at least 6.5 IELTS band and so on.
Perfect. Thank you. So we are done with the Q&A round, and I see there is one very, very good comment I've received for you both. I would like to take it as it is. That's from Mr. Atif Zaidi. Imran sir and Danish sir, you have given such a beautiful and detailed insight of EU education and job scenario. Shukriya, may Allah bless all of us. Thank you. Yeah, so there were so many feedbacks. I'm just because we do not have much time to read. To all the people who have given us good feedbacks, thank you so much. It is our pleasure to have you on board with us. So since today is our last session of this series, thank you, friends, for joining us. Thank you very much, Imran sir and Danish sir. It is our pleasure to have you both on board with us in our sessions as our expert speakers. Besides having such a highly busy schedules, you both took out your time to come here and enlighten our audience with the best of your capacities, knowledge, and information. And I'm very sure that it will be quite helpful for them in the coming future. I congratulate you both for delivering another enlightening and interesting session today on research and PhD opportunities in EU countries. And I would like to thank all the participants who have logged in today with us. I highly appreciate your joining in, and we were very glad to have you all board with us in our session. I feel pleasure to host these sessions for you all. I wish you all are finding our sessions quite helpful and interesting too. And by attending our sessions, I wish you all the best for your better educational and professional careers ahead, inshallah. At AMP, we are committed to organize such WebTalk sessions that allows you all to connect, communicate, and learn from our highly experienced speakers, trainers, and career coaches. We will be uploading today's recorded session on our AMP YouTube channel in a day or two, inshallah. Well, I have emailed all the previous sessions links to all the attendees who had joined us. So you can watch these learning and guiding sessions if any one of you have missed it in the past. Today's session will also be sent to you all in a couple of days. So if in case you want to connect directly to our speakers, kindly connect at info.germanyedu@gmail.com. I have also put this message on the chat box. You can find the email ID from there too. So this is our last session of the series. Until now, we have covered tuition-free higher education, bachelor's and master's in European countries, and what is EU's blue card, similar to H1B, and who can apply and how. This was our main session, the very first one. Then we conducted four follow-up sessions. First one was on education in Germany. Second was on education in European country other than Germany. The third follow-up session was on career opportunities in EU countries. And today we covered research and PhD opportunities in EU countries. So I would like to ask Imran sir and Danish sir, if in case you want to conclude the series and if you have any advice to give to our audience, kindly talk for about a few minutes before I end the session today. Thank you.
First of all, we wanted to appreciate the efforts and opportunity that AMP has provided and continuously providing to the community. And now the series of sessions that we have done were about higher education, opportunities for working and job and career and settlement towards Europe. 4 topics we have discussed, and we have seen quite enthusiastic listeners who have joined. We have a huge number of participants coming in, listening to us, and we have a lot of interest also afterwards in form of questions that we have answered and then emails that we have received. And we are happy, actually. We are happy that we got this opportunity to be here with all of you in order to create awareness about EU, Germany, Netherlands, European Union, because there is a lot of information already available and assistance available for traditional destinations, also for both for education as well as for career. But EU itself is kind of not that explored. And our message was that we wanted to convey the idea behind this was to give a second option, an opportunity which is, I would say, better in terms of possibilities and options available, because at all traditional destinations, there is a huge saturation already there, which means huge competition. But in EU, as an unexplored region, unexplored market, this should be a first thought to consider if you're looking for a good career, good settlement, career and job opportunities, and good quality of research and education. So this is a message also to everyone that please consider EU as one of the top options for you, because it has a lot of advantages, and all the advantages we have explained during our series of sessions. Yes, Danish.
Yes, I would also appreciate, first of all, AMP for hosting all these sessions. Very much of a hard work backstage, which is not always visible. And Humaira Kabir, she has been doing a tremendous job, really organizing this session, on top of it, handling all the questions. So it shouldn't go without saying thanks to her and also to the AMP team. For me, it was an opportunity also to speak up from my own experiences. And my main goal was, because we are trying to, for me, it's more important to empower people who should be available for a given opportunity. It's not just like you have done this, you want to do a job, you want to build up your career, but it's also about taking you to a thinking of a different level. When you live abroad, it's not just what you have lived in your home country with everything is more in a comfortable zone. But when you come outside, then you have to really challenge yourself with a lot of new things, with languages, with culture, a lot of questions, very interesting questions being asked, a lot of hesitations, food wise, dress code wise, your practices wise. But you should imagine that here we have everything, and this is a very diverse continent. Europe itself is quite diverse with respect to language, with respect to people. So all are welcome, and I would rather encourage people to come over, find a way from your own topic, from your own interest, either for job or for education. Europe itself is very interesting place. It's a beautiful continent. For me, it was more of an idea of community building, for making all of you aware that there are opportunities. You are living in a country which is extremely populated. Even if you have a right kind of talent, you have limited opportunities just because there is so much of people there. But yeah, there are alternative ways if you try to explore. And I personally am very much engaged and interested in understanding who needs what. And if I can contribute to that, definitely you could reach out to me personally also. And I think it's a pleasure for being in this part of effort. And I'm very happy and glad that we did it successfully. And I hope that in the future also we will host a few more sessions according to the demands, because there are a lot of questions. And I apologize because it is beyond my capacity to take care of each of the individual questions. But we will definitely try to cater those. And if possible, we can go through emails and reply to them individually. So stay tuned and stay connected. And thank you and wish you all the best.
Thank you. So that was wonderful. Thank you, Imran sir and Danish sir again, and all our participants once again. Stay tuned to us. Don't forget to connect to us on our social media handles, be it Facebook, LinkedIn, or Twitter, so that you don't miss our regular updates on our ongoing and upcoming activities and events. Also, take a little of your time to send us your feedback so that we can understand how do you like your session. You can email us at info@ampusa.org. Your feedbacks are truly valuable to us. If you wish to be a part of AMP and its community building and development work, you can simply log on to www.ampindia.org/joinamp. It was truly amazing experience for me also to host such great sessions with such wonderful audience and speakers. All right, friends, I'm Humaira, your host, signing off now. Stay home, stay safe, and keep learning. Take care. Goodbye. Good night. Allah.